All right, everybody, and we are live. So today we are going to kick off the ultimate FSBO strategy by Leads to ROI, and we're going to go ahead and jump into a slideshow presentation and get you guys walked through it. So let's go ahead and get started. So again, this is the ultimate FSBO strategy. When it boils down to marketing for sale by owners, you guys want to make sure that you're doing a multifaceted campaign and that you're targeting them on multiple fronts. But why FSBOs out of the gate? Right? So FSBOs are the lowest hanging fruit on the tree. These homeowners have extremely high intent. They're trying to sell their home on their own already, and they're also trying to maximize their profit on the home, which is why they're selling it for sale by owner. They can cut out that 6% commission and keep all of those funds in their pocket. Our job as agents is actually to educate these homeowners on, number one, how we can assist them in selling their home in the shortest period of time, and two, bringing the highest dollar value to the closing table on their home. One of our agents last year converted $65,000 in gross commissionable income, and he was working part-time sending direct mailers and cold calling for sale by owners, while also running some ads on Facebook to them as well. So I'd like to ask you guys, what would an additional $65,000 in gross commissionable income do for your business and your personal finances? I know in a lot of cases, it would do a great deal. So we want to look over the key components of how we're going to go ahead and utilize this FSBO, how we're not just utilize the FSBO data, but how we're also going to target and get in front of these potential FSBOs. And William, I'm actually going to make you the co-host, so that way if anybody tries to join up into the meeting while I'm presenting, you can go ahead and let them in the room if that's okay. So number one, you guys need to make sure that you have a data source that provides a daily list of FSBOs. Now, we personally use MyPlusLeads. There's Vulcan 7, there's the Red X, there's a handful of other FSBO platforms that are out there. What we found, though, is that they all roughly have about the same level of data and the same accuracy on their data as far as phone numbers, emails, names of the FSBOs go. The big thing that drives us to MyPlusLeads from any of the other platforms, number one, is affordability. Because if you're looking at the Red X or if you're looking at Vulcan 7, you're looking at a $300 piece of software just so that you can get those leads and call. Yep. Number two is actually going to be an API. So what an API means is that we can have a direct integration into MyPlusLeads, and that data will flow automatically into your Leads to ROI account every single day. You'll have a fresh list of FSBOs that you can call on, that you can send direct mailers to, that you can add to a Facebook audience and market on Facebook and run ads directly to them. So some super cool stuff there. All right, guys. Number two is going to be an audience creation of all of those FSBOs on social networks. So as soon as your FSBO hits your database, we're going to actually teach you in this training how you can have that FSBO be added to an audience on Facebook and Instagram, and you can have an evergreen ad that will continuously run to the newest FSBOs that hit your guys' audience. The next step is going to be direct mail campaigns and making sure that we are getting our marketing materials and unique selling propositions directly in front of today's for sale by owners. The next piece is going to be call campaigns. This is arguably one of the most important aspects of following up or marketing to FSBOs, is actually picking up your phone, giving them a call, and giving yourself the opportunity to go and meet those folks in person and ultimately win that listing. Now, the last thing that we're going to be covering today is some unique selling propositions so that we can help you guys get to the closing table. This was a section that Kelly was going to be covering today, but I'm going to go ahead and take the reins on it since his internet is down. And I will do my best to Kelly-esque that presentation. So I know it's kind of hard to fill in the shoes of the real estate marketing ninja, but I'll do my best. So I'm going to walk you guys through creating the audience on Facebook in this slideshow, but then I'm also going to jump over really fast into Facebook and show you guys how to create the audience on your own. So that way we can tie everything together. So number one, we're going to need to make sure that we click on business, or we go to business.facebook.com/ads manager. And then below are going to be the following steps. that we are actually going to follow while we're showing you guys how to add an audience into Facebook. So let's go ahead and go to facebook.com or business, facebook.com/ads manager. All right, so this is going to go ahead and load into Facebook. What we are going to do from here is we're actually going to jump over into audiences. So I'll show that one more time just so that it's a little bit slower. You guys have a hamburger menu just above your photo. It says all tools here. Go ahead and click on all tools, and then we're going to select audiences. Now, Facebook looks a little bit different depending on where you are geographically in the US. So what it looks like to me may look completely different on your screen, and Facebook is set up that way by design. They're constantly running tests in every market all across the US. Sometimes, even though Willie and I are only one state away, he's in Oregon, I'm in Washington, sometimes I'll share my screen and he'll say, oh, your Facebook ads manager looks completely different to mine. So if you guys don't see audience under shortcuts, it's no big deal. Go ahead and just look down this list and you should find it under advertise and audiences here. So a couple of different ways that you can get into it. If you don't see it at the top, just be sure to scroll on down and you will then be able to find audiences in the list. So once we move into audiences, number one, if you guys are like us and you have multiple Facebook ad accounts, or you have multiple pages, for example, it's best to make sure that you're working with the correct page. So in the right side, you can go ahead and you can click the drop down and you can go ahead and select which page you want to work from or which business manager you would like to work from. And so I'm going to search for Be Known University out of the gate. And then from Be Known University, I'm actually, oops, that was the wrong one. From Be Known University, I'm going to go ahead and select leads to ROI. Let's see if I actually just have it in this list here. Save some time. There we go, leads to ROI. So you will select your correct ad account in the top right corner. And you can see we've got a lot of custom audiences that have already been pre-built into our platform. So for you guys, what you will do is you'll go to myplusleads.com. You'll go ahead and log into your platform. And you can see we've got Jim Neal here. So I'm just going to log into Jim's because he's got a ton of data in there. And what you guys will be able to do is go into your guys's leads, and you can actually go ahead and pull a list of all of the leads from your guys's FSBOs that have came in through MyPlusLeads. So what we can do is select a particular date range. I'm going back to October 1st. Let's say we want to use FSBO. And all of this is actually updated since the last video that we did. So it's good that we're actually going through this. And then we also want to select My Leads. So once we've selected our date range, our lead type, and My Leads, we should have a list of leads that will preload into the system. And it looks like it's not giving me all the data. So give me 1 second to sort this out, you guys. Let's go ahead and go into the search function here. And let's do the FSBO. So let's do this another way. So we'll start in search. I'm going to go ahead and go back to October 1st again. And we're going to go back to February 22nd. I'm going to eliminate the price range right now. And we're going to go ahead and only check for sale by owners. It looks like we've also got all of our zip codes set up. Let's go ahead and hit submit and see what happens. There we go. So now we've got a list of for sale by owners that have been selected here and that are available for us to download. Now what you guys can do is go ahead and select the first 1,000 on here. Simply click export and just say all fields as a CSV. Now, the fields that you guys are going to get on this particular spreadsheet is going to be a vast amount of data. It's going to give you information on the home. It's going to give you their price point, their zip codes, beds, baths, all that kind of information. Let's actually open up the CSV and take a look at it so that you guys can see all of those different data points. So we have a processing date, a listing ID that's added into the system, the status of that, whether it's expired, FSBO, canceled. So it looks like in this particular instance, it didn't separate out the FSBOs from the canceleds, the expireds, and the withdrawns. But I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to import this just for posterity so that you guys know how to do it. So once you've downloaded your list, from once you've downloaded your list from My Plus Leads, what we're going to do is we're going to click this create audience button here in Facebook audiences. You're going to select custom audience. So it's the very first option. From here, we're going to click on customer list. Once we've clicked on customer list, we're simply going to select next. Now, this first page here is basically just telling you all of the information that we need for an identifier for that contact. So you can see it says include at least one main identifier. That's going to be an email, a phone number, a mobile advertiser ID. This is going to be an ID that you get from Facebook, a Facebook app user ID, Facebook page user ID, first name, and last name. You can also include additional identifiers to help pinpoint your exact client, your exact audience. So for example, let's just say we have a first name, a last name, we have a city and a state, and the first name and the last name is John Smith. That's going to be a super common name, and it's going to be hard for Facebook to say, okay, it's this John Smith. So we can narrow that down by adding things in like city, state, country, zip code, date of birth, year of birth, gender, and age. So those are all different kinds of information that we can enter into Facebook to help us identify somebody if we don't have email and phone number. Now, here's the caveat, you guys. Everybody on Facebook, you have to verify your phone number. You have to verify your email in order to get your account set up. So those are the two best primary main identifiers that you can utilize to create an audience in Facebook, because Facebook already has that data and they're just going to say, oh, it's johnsmith@gmail.com. Here's their Facebook profile. We're going to go and target them with this ad. So what we're going to do here is just click next at the bottom of this page, because this is just telling us how we need to set it up. This page is all about customer value. This isn't really for the real estate niche. This is more for an e-commerce business or somebody that's continuing to do repeat business with their customers. So in this particular instance, we absolutely are not going to be including any customer value into our detailed targeting. We go ahead and click next, and now we're simply going to upload the file. I'm going to go into downloads. You can see right here we have listings 1. This is the sheet that we just downloaded from Jim's My Plus Leads. We're going to go ahead and say next, and you're going to see that a handful of all of these details are already selected. So it's gone ahead and it's pulled in zip code. It's pulled in phone number here, but we can see that it mistakes an MLS number right here for a phone number. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and select do not upload on the MLS number. That particular identifier isn't going to give us any information, and it's not going to give Facebook an opportunity to help find someone. So what we are going to do is click on this action needed right here. From action needed, we're going to go ahead and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to find first name and last name, and that's what we want to do. So owner first name. So this is going to be owner 1 first name. So we're going to go ahead and just click the drop down, and we're going to select first name. Then you can see we have owner last name. We're going to go ahead and click the drop down, and we're going to select last name. Now, all we have to do is jump back over to mapped and just make sure that our selections are what we want. So we've got a zip code to help Facebook find that contact. We've got a phone number that's more than likely going to be verified with their account. We've got an email that's more than likely going to be verified with their account, and 2 additional augmented emails just in case, right? Then we also have an augmented phone number. So at this point in time, we have 5 unique identifiers that are the primary ones, which is email and phone number, to help you guys or help Facebook find your for sale by owners. Then you also have the additionals, which is going to be your guys' first or the lead's first name, last name, and a zip code. So we've got 7 opportunities to really help Facebook hone in on this exact for sale by owner. All we have to do now is click import and create. So now Facebook is going to take a little bit of time. It's already done. Facebook's gone ahead and imported that 1,000 rows, which was the first 1,000 FSBOs that were listed in the account. And all we have to do here is click done. All right, so now we've gone ahead and we've loaded that audience directly into Facebook so that we have an audience here for use. Now, the next thing that I want to show you guys is how to automate adding new leads directly into your for sale by owner audience that you just created in Facebook. Every time those leads hit leads to ROI every single day. So the first step that we're going to do, we're actually going to open up leads to ROI. And I've already gone there with Kelly just so I can kind of show you guys through this. But you're going to select automations on the left side of the screen. Once you've selected automations, in the top menu here, you're going to want to select workflows. And I've done my best to try to depict in this slideshow. If anybody wants this afterwards, go ahead and just throw down like slideshow in the chat for the Zoom, and we'll go ahead and send the slideshow out to you. But we've done our best to go ahead and try to show you, hey, so automation is going to be in the left menu, workflows is going to be the top menu. So throughout this whole thing, we're trying to make sure that the slideshow matches where you're actually going to go. All right, so you'll select automations. You're then going to select workflows at the very top of the page. There's a sub menu up here. Once you select workflows, we're then just going to search for FSBO Ninja. Now, this is Kelly's plan. This is his follow-up campaign that he personally uses. We have made some adjustments and some changes to this recently to make sure that we're compliant in all 50 states, which is great. But right out of the gate, you guys are going to see that there's going to be two main tags that trigger this. So one of which is going to be FSBO, for sale by owner, and the other is going to be update FSBO. Now, the reason we have the update FSBO is if you want to add your call script back in at any time, once you've done an update, you can just add update FSBO tag to that contact, and your call script will then automatically be re-added to your notes. So to add this, any new FSBO contact that comes through your leads to ROI from My Plus Leads, it's a very simplistic process. We're going to click the first plus that's in this workflow. We're going to have a right menu that's going to expand. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you can see it's right here, all the Facebook stuff, or you can just type in Facebook in the search, and it's going to pull all of the different actions of what we can do from Facebook right here so that you can just see the options that you want to see. We're going to select Facebook, add to custom audience. Once you've gone ahead and selected that, the next step you're going to do is select your ad account ID. Now, with Kelly, leads to ROI, Be Known University, Be Known Advertising, we have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of accounts that we are attached to. You guys are probably going to have one or two. We've seen some agents with 3 or 4, but in most cases, 1 or 2. So make sure that you are selecting the correct Facebook account ID so that you are going to be adding it to the right audience. Once you've selected the account ID, you're going to have a Facebook custom audience ID that you're going to select. It's just going to be the name of the audience that you created. So with Kelly, we named it FSBOs, so FSBOs. So we just go ahead and select FSBOs, and all we have to do is say save action. Once you've saved the action, we will click save in the top right corner of the workflow. Now, every single time you guys have a lead that enters your database that is a FSBO, they automatically have the FSBO tag added to them before they even hit the system. The FSBO tag is there. So as soon as your FSBO lead hits your leads to ROI database, that lead is now going to be added to a custom audience in Facebook so that we can run detailed targeted messages directly to those FSBOs. So now that we've gone through that, let me go ahead and read this little caveat at the end. All leads that are FSBO will now automatically be added to the Facebook ad audience when loaded into leads to ROI, giving you the ability to run evergreen ads to FSBOs directly. What do we mean by evergreen ads? That means you set it up one time, you get it running, and you forget about it. You set it, and you forget it. Evergreen ads are a big favorite of ours here at Leads to ROI. We've done a ton of work with evergreen ads when it comes to listings, lead generation for buyers, running IDX feeds through your guys's. Some folks in here have KV Core as a backup because you guys are with EXP. And there's a lot of cool things that we can do with that to teach you guys how to run an evergreen ad that you can set, forget, and never touch again. So very, very high performing ad that you set up one time and you don't have to worry about again after that. Now, I'm going to show you guys a couple of different ad types that you would want to run on Facebook right out of the gate. Number one, all of these, we want to make sure they are lead generation ads because that is what has the highest level of conversion on Facebook. Now, what does that mean? On Facebook, you can run an ad where you're sending traffic to a website. You can run an ad where you're getting likes for a page. You can run an ad for video viewership. You can run an ad for lead generation. You can run an ad just so that you can get in front of the highest amount of people possible. We've tested them all. Lead generation ads give you the best level of conversion and the lowest cost per lead through Facebook. And best of all, it doesn't take any of those leads away from Facebook's platform, which is why it's so powerful. They're already on it. They don't have to go to a new landing page to fill any information out. We're looking at $2 on average cost per lead when we're looking at buyers. Marketing these FSBOs definitely costs a lot more, but if we're looking to win listings, this is an absolutely integral part of the strategy to make sure that you are getting in front of those FSBOs. So we've got a couple of things that we can offer these FSBOs for free right out of the gate. There's one thing that I didn't add on here, so I'm actually going to add this on here. And it is in, give me 1 second. Let me actually pull this from here because I have it listed. Oh, I need to do this. Cool. Little edit. So for sale by owner, FSBO listings done right. This is a PDF from Listings to Leads. I'm going to show you guys how to create this in just a second. So number one, with Listings to Leads, every single member of Leads to ROI gets a Listings to Leads account for free with your membership. That's a cost that we incur on your guys' behalf because we know that it's a platform that can help y'all see success. So you guys can set up a FSBO website on Listings to Leads in about 5 minutes. We've done several videos where Kelly has showed you guys how to do that. And all of those videos are listed in Leads to ROI. You guys can find those under the live trainings, our weekly trainings here. We just changed the name. And all of these do have an about section. So you could actually go through this. We can search for FSBO. Let's see if we have a website. Don't have a website listed, but you guys can go through and search for all the different FSBOs. And there are several videos where we have covered how to set up that FSBO website inside of Listings to Leads. All right. Number two is going to be a free video walkthrough. So essentially what this would be is an ad offering, hey, I saw that you were listing your home for sale by owner. As a local real estate professional, I'd love to give you some additional tips and tricks and also give you a free video walkthrough on your home so that we can help you sell it in the shortest amount of time possible. All right, so free video walkthrough. You can offer a free virtual tour. You can offer the FSBO backup option, or you can just run videos where you're educating that homeowner on selling their home in today's market. And in those kinds of videos, we want to cover best practices that are going to help them see the highest return on listing their home. So we want to get the most at the closing table for it, but that's also going to build trust and give you an opportunity to work your way in to win that listing. So this particular slide, we're going to walk through how to launch this particular ad in Listings to Leads. So again, you guys, if you want this slideshow, go ahead and just say slideshow in the chat. We'll send it to you afterwards. I'm going to go ahead and open up Listings to Leads and walk you guys through how to build this ad in just a couple of seconds. So this is very, very fast in Listings to Leads. So what you guys are going to do once you're logged in, you're going to go ahead and click ads. Once you have selected ads, it's going to take a minute with my screen because I'm on Zoom. It's going to load up your guys' ad platform inside of Listings to Leads. Now you'll see create listing ad, create landing page ad, create PDF guide. This is the one that we want. So we'll go ahead and select the PDF guide. And here, this is very important. I found that if you do not type this in with capital letters, it won't show up. So if I just type in FSBO here to search, I'm not going to see any reports. But if I do this in capital, FSBO, all caps, you can see we have the for sale by owner listings done right PDF ad. All we have to do is click create ad. And this is going to load into our Facebook for Instagram and Facebook marketing so that we can go ahead and run this ad out to the general public. Now, anytime you guys go to run an ad from your listings to leads, your location should automatically be entered here. But for us, since we are the parent, we oversee all of the accounts. We don't get the location automated. So that way we don't go to run an ad for Jim Neal in Southern Florida, and we accidentally put it on Merlene Myrtle's account, which is going to be outside of New York on Long Island, right? So we actually have to type in locations. Your guys' location should automatically be there based off of your profile that you set up. But I'm just going to go ahead and type in Orlando just so you guys can see how this works. The minimum radius with any kind of a housing ad on Facebook is going to be a 15-mile radius. And this radius is in miles. So if you want to expand that out, you can expand it to 50 miles, but it's 15 is the minimum. So Facebook did that to make sure that they were compliant with all the fair housing, equal opportunity housing, all that good stuff. And they kind of got in trouble in Congress a couple of years back. I'm sure everybody remembers that. What I would recommend on here is to actually select a daily budget. Now do this right around $10 per day. Now, depending on your market is going to depend on what your spend should be. Now, if you're saying, how do I know what my market is? How do I know what I should spend? Let's show you. So what we're going to do is go ahead and go to facebook.com/ads/library. So what this is going to do is it's going to bring up a library of all of the ads that are running on Facebook. You can select particular pages. You can select locations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the drop down and I'm going to select housing. So this is going to show us all of the housing ads that we would be running on Facebook or that would be running on Facebook in any given market. I'm going to go ahead and type in Orlando. So once I type in Orlando, you're going to see city, Orlando, Florida. I'm going to go ahead and click there. And you can see currently we have about 3,300 results right now. So at this point in time, there are 3,300 Facebook ads that are running that are geared towards housing in Orlando. Now, that's not the stiffest competition that you're going to find, but it's also not the lowest. At 3,300 results, I would highly recommend $10 a day. Now, if we were to jump into another area, let's just say San Francisco. Let's go ahead and see what we have here. So San Francisco has 1,000 more ads that are running right now at any given time. I'd recommend over 4,000. If you've got 4,000 ads running in your market, bump that budget up by $5 a day. So go from $10 a day to $15 a day. You have a lot more competition in your market, and every single one of these advertisers are competing for the same eyeballs. So the more that you got that's in spend, the more of your competitors you're going to be pricing out, and the more often your ad is actually going to be seen by potential FSBOs or potential buyers or sellers, depending on what type of ad you are running. So facebook.com/ads library. I'm going to go ahead and add this. Actually, I'll add this to the slideshow for you guys. So that way, when we send it out, you guys have it. There we go. Hey, let's just say under 3,500 ads, 10 per day. And we'll say 15 per day. So that way you guys will get a little key with your with the slideshow for those that have asked for it. All right, so now that we've gone ahead and selected our location and our budget, I like this. I like the infographic. I'm not going to change it. One thing I am going to do, because I want to target those for sale by owners, is we're going to go ahead and say retarget leads. Now, in our personal account, I don't have the FSBO. I don't have a FSBO audience that is set up. what you guys would actually do, and let's actually see if I can do this off of one of mine. Let's see if Compass works. So no, I don't even have it tied to my Facebook. What you guys will do is type in FSBO or whatever the name of your audience is that you created. So if it's FSBOs between a certain date range, if it's for sale by owner, however you guys name it, just type in the exact name that you see here in your Facebook audience, and it's going to pull up in a drop down in listings to leads. You're just going to click on it, and then it's going to add that to your current audience. The next step that we're going to do is we're going to select advanced options. All right, so you want to create a new form on Facebook because we want this to be a lead generation ad. Now, when it boils down to this, the next thing that you guys are going to have to do is just click on form questions. It's going to have your time frame to sell pre-selected in here, and you can see that it's got options. Just thinking 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months, 12 months plus. Right. Another one that I would go ahead and select is, are you buying a home when your home sells? And then if we go ahead and we scroll down, we can take a look at all of the rest of these options. I would leave it at that. Are you buying a home when your home sells? And what is your time frame to sell? Now, all we have to do is click this create form, and it's going to go ahead and create the form for us. So now we've got a form that is created. It's going to be inside of Facebook. It's going to be active and available there so that we can see it right out of the gate. Now, the next step that we're going to do is Facebook actually has a detailed interest for sale by owner. So what we're going to do is just type in for sale by. You can see for sale by owner populates under interest. We can go ahead and select that interest. Now we're going to have automated placements. Everything here looks good. You guys go ahead and review the primary text for your ad copy. Review your headline, description. If there's anything you want to change, you can change that now. All you actually have to do is go ahead and scroll down to the bottom and select publish. And this ad is going to go live on Facebook with a daily budget of $10 per day. And it's also going to be listed on Instagram as well. And you can see here where it says Instagram select page. So this is just going to use your Facebook page to target on Instagram. If you have an Instagram page, once you've connected it to listings to leads, you can go ahead and use your listings to leads. You can go ahead and select your Instagram page directly from here to run that. So
Brian, I do want to say one thing real quick. So I do want to jump in here. One thing that's really important about the audiences section for you guys to know is that you can't actually select an audience that is from Facebook. You have to create that audience in listings to leads in order for you to actually, yes.
No, Kelly and I tested it the other day.
It says it in the settings for the audiences in listings to leads. You can't, it says you can only use audiences that are created in listings to leads.
Kelly and I did the search and it populated in the dropdown for his FSBOs.
I don't know why they would say that in their settings then for the audience.
I don't either. But we ran a test on it and it worked.
Okay, cool.
It was under the retarget current leads. We typed in the address from his audience and it pulled his audience list from Facebook just like this. So maybe they've done an update.
They must have, yeah, cool.
But it was able to pull Kelly's FSBO audience, his expired, his withdrawn, his canceled. And we created all of those audiences in Facebook and not in listings to leads.
Perfect. I just want to make sure if that was the case that that we knew.
Definitely. So you guys can pull those. You can also create your custom audiences inside of listings to leads as well. And we've got another training that covers how to do that, you guys. Now, the next step that we're going to actually do is we're going to show you how to launch this ad inside of Facebook itself. So I'm going to make this pretty brief because this is a much longer process to do this in Facebook Ads Manager than it is to actually do this inside of listings to leads. Listings to leads is very much a time-saving tool for us when it comes to running ads on Facebook. So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to jump into Ads Manager and we'll go ahead and we'll select, yeah, this is fine. So the first thing you're going to do when you're loaded into your Ads Manager is go ahead and click Create. Once you have clicked create, we're going to select leads. So this may show up as lead generation in your account. This is actually different from a couple of days ago when I wrote this slideshow. In mine, it said lead generation. So just know that leads or lead generation is going to be a lead ad on Facebook. What I always do is I click this drop down here so that I can name my Facebook ad. And I like the campaign, the ad set, and the ad to all be the same name. So that way, if I'm moving through these tabs up here at the top and I'm looking at analytics based off of different sections, it's all the same name and it's uniform. So we'll just go ahead and name this FSBO ad, and I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste this all the way down. And we're going to select continue. Now, you guys, with any ad that you are going to run for your real estate business, this is the absolute most important part and the most important selection that you make. Because if you miss this part, your ad cost is going to go through the roof. Facebook charges cost per market, which is your cost per getting in front of 1,000 people. The more errors, omissions, and mistakes that you guys have on your Facebook ad account, the higher your cost per market is. Once you've done 2 or 3 of those violations, Facebook will shut your account down. So this is extremely important. Special ad categories. If you guys are going to be building your own ads in Facebook, make sure you are selecting the housing category. So this is ads for real estate, homeowners insurance, mortgage loans, and other related opportunities. So we have to make sure that we've selected the housing category. So again, that's most important. We don't want to get in trouble with Facebook. We don't want to raise our costs by making a simple mistake. So always select housing ad category on Facebook. We're going to then go ahead and select next. And on this particular page, this is where we're going to do things like select our daily budget. So I would recommend setting this at $10 per day. Again, if you have like 3,500 or under in your market, if you're over 4,000, do it at 15, depending on the number of ads that are running. So we'll go ahead and select our budget. We can select a start and an end date if we choose. I don't like to set end dates when I run ads, because if they're performing, we like to keep them running. And then we would go ahead and just turn them off once the performance starts to slow down. Typically, you can see a good 3-month run on a Facebook ad that is performing. So I'm not going to select an end date on this, but if you want to, you absolutely can. And you would do that by selecting set end date, and then you would pick your end date just by clicking this. You'd see the pop-up for the calendar, and you can set it to end at a particular time as well. Now, as far as custom audiences goes, when we click on this, we can see that we have this listing audience that is from Jim Neal's account. So let's say we wanted to target those FSBOs. We go ahead and click listings here, and now we are targeting those for sale by owners. Every time a new FSBO hits leads to ROI, it's going to be added to this list in Facebook. So every day when you have new FSBOs, you now have more ads that are running to those for sale by owners and helping you put your unique selling proposition in front of them so that you win an opportunity for them to call you and work with you. Next thing that we need to do is actually edit the location. So again, I'm just going to throw Orlando in because that's kind of the theme that we've been going on today. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in Orlando. And once you've typed it in, it's going to populate below. Select your location, and you've got a couple of options. So with FSBOs, this could very well be someone that is an absentee owner. This could be somebody that's Airbnb-ing a property. It could be somebody that's renting a property. It could be somebody that's owner occupied living in the property. So I'm actually going to leave this as people living in or recently in this location. Because I don't want to miss any opportunities. You could also select, if you're running a different type of ad, say you're just running a seller ad where you're targeting homeowners that aren't absentees, you could focus on people that are living in this location. If you're looking for, say, a secondary home market and you want to target folks there, you can do people recently in this or people traveling in this location. Those are 2 good indicators for secondary home markets. But for this, we're going to leave people living in or recently in this location. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and scroll down, and we can hit this detailed targeting here. And what we'll do in this demographic, we can actually type in for sale by owner. Now you can see we have for sale by owner that populates under our interests. And now we're targeting on Facebook through for sale by owner and through our custom list that is on here. We can then go ahead and scroll down and simply select next. With automated placements, what Facebook is going to do is it's going to run your ad in every imaginable placement that it can. Depending on the performance of those placements, Facebook is going to remove particular placements as your ad runs, and it's going to help optimize it so that you get the best results. So I recommend keeping automatic placements on. It's going to save you time, effort, energy, and Facebook's going to put you in front of the best people that are going to click on the ad and fill out their information. Next step that we're going to do is just go ahead and move into our media section. And so on this page, again, we want to make sure that your correct Facebook page is selected. You also want to make sure that your Instagram account is selected. And if not, use your selected Facebook page. That way you can target folks on Facebook and Instagram. As we scroll down, you can select whether you want a single image or a video, or whether you want a carousel. Now, you guys have a ton of options inside of listings to leads for different kinds of imagery that you can use in media that you can use inside of your advertising. For example, if you guys wanted to run a video ad, there is actually a section in here where you can see videos. William, where was it that I go to get that? It's library, right? Yeah. So it's under the library, and then you can look under media from L2L. There's a ton of videos that are in here that you can go ahead and pull from. So there's PDFs, there's videos. I don't know if they have a video for sale by owners, but they've got a ton of really good videos in here. You guys can use PDF guides, images, or videos from listings to leads automatically, or you can build your own in Canva. It is completely up to you. But all you're going to do is go ahead. You shouldn't have any media that would be added. What you're going to do is click add media, and you would either add an image or you would add a video here. So once you've added those things, you're going to go ahead and select or enter your primary text for your for sale by owner, whatever you want that ad to be and what you want it to say. You're going to write in your headline. You're going to write in a description. You're then going to select your call to action. We recommend learn more. It's the least invasive, and it typically sees the best results. You're also going to want to create a new form on Facebook. So we're going to do one more step on this that's going to make things a little bit different from listings to leads. So when you create your new form, go ahead and click continue on that disclosure. The first thing you guys are going to want to do is jump into settings. So you're going to see that on Facebook forms by default, the option to share that particular ad is going to be restricted. So there won't be a share button on your ad if you do not open your form. So I highly recommend, especially when we're looking at FSBOs, we're looking at buyers, a lot of times there's a second decision maker involved, i.e. a spouse, and we want to make sure that whoever sees this ad and whoever we captivated, we have the opportunity for them to share this with their significant other or spouse. So what I'm going to do is click open so that this particular ad can now be shared through Messenger or through a Facebook post so that they can put this back in front of their loved ones or the additional decision makers that are involved. Next thing that we're going to do is name the form. So I'm just going to name this FSBO. You will then have an intro that you can select. I'm going to make this easy for you guys. Just select use the image from your ad. So whatever image you use on your ad is going to automatically populate here. Now, for your guys' headline, you're going to want to write in a brief headline, and you can either do a paragraph here or you can do a bullet list. Bullet list is super simple. So what you will get for free for being a FSBO. So we will say video walkthrough. All right, then we can go ahead and say free FSBO website. We can say virtual tour. Whatever you are offering to this FSBO To get yourself in front of them, I highly recommend doing the list and writing out those options that, or those things that you're going to be providing them in this list. Next step you're going to do is go into the questions that you want to ask that lead upon sign up. So what we're going to do is we're going to click add category. I don't like full name personally. I like first name and last name. It works best with most databases. Leads to ROI doesn't matter. We can collect full name, we can collect first, last. We get all that data the same, and our system automatically separates first and last names. It's really easy. But I like first and last name. That way I can have separated data. You're also going to want to select a phone number. And then if you want to add any custom questions into this, what you would actually do is above the custom questions, or these pre-fill questions here, you're going to have a section at the top that says add question. I recommend multiple choice, and then you can ask the exact same questions that we were asking in listings to leads. Do you have, or are you planning to buy a home? When your home sells? Question mark. Answers, we would just type in yes. We would add another one. We would type in no. And now we've got yes, no for our options in here. So you can see, are you planning to buy a home when your home sells? Yes or no. You can then go ahead and add an additional multiple choice question. You can say, what is your time frame to sell? Question mark. Then we can say now, 1 through 3 months. Oops, I typoed. 1 through 3 months. All right, you can do 3 through 6, 6 through 12 next year. So however you guys want to label this out, you can go ahead and add all of those responses into there, and then all they have to do is select from the actual question itself and pick their time frame to sell. Now, pretty simple. You guys are going to need to add in a privacy policy link. You should all have a privacy policy link that's going to be available inside of your listings to leads. And I think you've also got one with one of your funnels with leads to ROI. William, do we have a privacy policy that's out there for these guys? If not, we will get you one. So we'll go ahead and add a page for you guys that's just privacy policy. We'll make it so that it's super simple. Everybody will have the exact same one, but it'll pre-fill your name, your brokerage, all that kind of info, your location, address, everything like that, so that it fits Facebook's needs for what they want.
We might not put the name, but yes, we'll make it structured so that it'll cover everybody.
Awesome. So all you'll have to do is copy that link and you'll paste in your privacy policy link here. If you wish to, you can add in some text, and you can also add custom disclaimers if you would like. So what I would recommend is, if you plan on calling these leads as soon as they enter their information, if you're going to email them, if you're going to text them, go ahead and add that disclosure in. So just let them know, hey, upon submission of this, we are going to be calling you, texting you, and emailing you in order to get in contact. The last thing that you'll do is you'll go ahead and you'll enter a link for where you want to redirect this lead to after they have filled out the form. So this could be a home search. This could be your personal website. This could be a landing page. Completely up to you. It could be your Facebook page. It's completely up to you as to where you want to send them. Go ahead and add a link in here and then click publish. Once you've clicked publish on this, I'm going to delete it because it's in our account and we don't need a FSBO form. But once you've gone ahead and published your form, the next step you're going to want to do is make sure that your pixel is set up and then it's added here. Once your pixel is set up and added, just go ahead and click publish at the bottom and your Facebook ad is going to go live. So very, very straightforward, simplistic on that. But there's a heck of a lot more steps if you're building it yourself versus building it in the listings to leads. So you guys save yourselves that time, build your ads in listings to leads, 30 seconds versus 5 minutes. I'd take 30 seconds all day. Okay. And you can see the launching ads in Facebook is a much longer list than launching and listings to leads. All right, now we're going to move on to direct mail campaigns. Again, we want to make sure that we are targeting these for sale by owners on multiple levels. We don't want to just run a Facebook ad. We don't want to just call them. We don't want to send a mailer. We want to do all of those things so that we can give ourselves the best opportunity to convert those leads. So when sending direct mail to FSBOs, you need a compelling offer that will captivate the homeowner's attention. One way we do this is by utilizing an image of the homeowner's house on a postcard. And we recommend setting up a campaign with a minimum of 4 mailers. Now, you guys, our team is working diligently on getting the Google integration where we can grab a street view image of their home and get that automatically added to your guys' mailbox power so that when you send that postcard out, it is an image of their home. We've got about 500 more tests to run through on it. We've got it working. Now we've just got to test and make sure that we don't have errors. Then we'll get that out to everybody. Should be within the next week to 2 weeks. I apologize on the delay on that, but we had some issues with dev. We had to go back, fix a couple of things. We want to make sure it's absolutely perfect for you guys before we put it out, because we'd hate to send the wrong photo to the wrong person. So we're getting that updated. In the meantime, there is another video that Kelly has done that will show you guys how to actually add that image from Google Street View. You can find that on his YouTube page. And I believe we've also done it. Yes, we have done it inside of our live trainings before. So you guys will be able to access that by going back through those training recordings.
Also, guys, if anybody would like to have a quick video, I shot about a 10-minute video on our support hour for Merlene. And that video was going over the Facebook Ads Manager and showing actually how to read the data inside of Facebook Ads Manager. So what does cost per market mean? What does cost per click mean? How do you reference all of those things and understand them? How to focus on the time frames so that you can see, ad performance and when ad performance drops off, and just a lot of things like that. I did like a real quick overview. So if anybody wants that, feel free to just send in the chat below saying want. How about Brian, continue.
Yeah, that way we have 2 different things. So slideshow is slideshow, Williams offer, just go ahead and throw want in.
There we go. Love it.
All right. We are also working with Mailbox Power right now to get it set up so that everybody has campaigns pre-built in their account automatically. So these are going to be added back into those that have already signed up through us with listings or with, Mailbox Power. And then anybody that joins going forward is going to have campaigns that are going to be preloaded into their account. We should have that done within the next couple of weeks as well. But you guys will have FSBO, expired, withdrawn, canceled, seller, and renter, as well as absentees. There's going to be a bunch of different campaigns that are going to be preloaded into your guys' Mailbox Power so that you can start sending those campaigns out and putting direct mailers right in front of these potential buyers, sellers, FSBOs, foreclosures, all of that good stuff. So number 1, right out of the gate with direct mail, you want to immediately set a mailer campaign. These direct mailers can sometimes take 4 or 5 days to land in your client's inbox. And by that time, especially if you're in a super hot market, if you don't get to it very, very quickly, they may have already gotten offers and accepted one, sold their house. So it's important as soon as you guys get these FSBOs, every day I'd be going through my for sale by owners, looking at the price point of the home, and I'd be cherry picking which ones I want to send postcards out to. You're also going to want to have your campaign set up to send at least 1 postcard per month. Be sure to include your phone number, your email, and a QR code to a funnel where you can capture more information or give them an opportunity to book an appointment with you. Everybody inside of your guys' Leads to ROI account, everybody does have oh, Kelly has so many. Everybody does have a book with me page that's going to have your photo. It's going to have your guys' calendar and your info at the top of it. So you can use your booking with me page, and it's going to be your first name, last name .bookingwithme.com/book-with-me-page. Everybody has access to that. If you want to use your calendar link as where you want to send those folks, just go ahead and into your sites and find that particular page. Is book with me copy is how it's listed for Kelly. I think it's just book with me on everyone else. But that way you can send people to that funnel, and you can create a QR code through Canva. Kelly's done several examples on how to do that as well. But since we're running out of time, I'm going to go ahead and power through this, you guys. Now, launching a direct mail campaign from leads to ROI. We made this as simplistic as possible for you guys. So with all of these integrations that we have, our goal was to make sure that it was a seamless integration and that there wasn't any additional legwork that you guys had to do on your side to complete any of these tasks. So number one is in the opportunities section, your pipeline for My Plus Leads / Mailbox Power. All you'd have to do is move the lead from FSBO, which is where the FSBOs will land, into FSBO voicemail drop 2 plus postcard campaign. And William, the voicemails, we have pre-recorded voicemails for you guys that either have been or will be very soon added to all of your guys' accounts. And then if you guys wish to, feel free to go in and re-record those voicemails. We're putting some generic ones out there just so that we can give you guys a better opportunity to convert. If you guys want to, we highly recommend it. Go in and record some new voicemails, add those WAV files to the voicemail drop. So that way you're automatically sending a voicemail out to these for sale by owners on your own behalf. Merlene, not you though. New York doesn't like it. So once you guys go ahead and drag and drop, I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's jump into Jim Neal's account. So when we are under the opportunities section here on the left side of the screen, you can see we're in Mailbox Power. All you would do, and Jim's is a little different set with FSBO Mailer. It should be FSBO Mailer VM. Once we do the update, you guys will see it. But all you have to do is take your lead, drag it, and you would then drop it into the mailer. And it's automatically going to set that lead up on a campaign, send a mailer out. So this is number one, the easiest way to go ahead and launch a FSBO Mailer campaign. Now, the second option that we have here is actually going to be under the contacts section. So what you'll do is go ahead and select contacts. With Jim's, everything is nice and neatly laid out, so we can see that all the FSBOs fall under FSBO. See that we also have some additional info like their full address, the number of beds, baths, and the price range. So you can see here, we have their address, we have bedrooms, bathrooms, and the price that they have the home listed. So what we're going to do is click on the actual contact's name. It will open the record. Now down here under FSBOs, under opportunities, we're going to click this little box with a pencil in the top right corner. It's the universal symbol for edits. So we're going to go ahead and click on that. And what you guys will do is just select the stage. So we're going to click stage and we're going to select FSBO Mailer. And all we have to do is hit update. And now it's automatically going to move that lead into the FSBO Mailer stage, which is going to trigger the campaign in Mailbox Power and start sending off your guys' mailers right out of the gate, saving you so much precious time and energy. Now, that's it. That's how simple it is for you guys to send a mailer directly through your guys' leads to ROI from Mailbox Power. Either move it in the pipeline or just go ahead and select the stage in the contact record and it's done. Now, call campaigns. Again, calling FSBO leads is arguably the most important step in converting for sale by owners. Studies show that 6 call attempts to leads leads to a conversation rate 90% of the time. So if you make 6 call attempts to a lead, you have a 90% chance of getting them on the phone and having a conversation. It's extremely important to call quickly and often on your FSBOs. These leads, and we recommend setting block periods, right? So I recommend setting up a particular time every single day that you're going to block out an hour or 2 hours of your time to go through your list and power dial through these folks. Now, The next slide, we're going to show you a couple of different options that you have inside Leads to ROI. I love options. So by default, you guys are going to have your campaigns set up with manual calls. And to show you what that means, we'll go ahead and jump into automations. We'll jump back into the FSBO Ninja so that we can show you those manual calls. So go ahead and click here and FSBO Ninja. So you can see here that when this lead comes in, okay, we added the audience. The next step is to create an opportunity and add them to the pipeline. Then it adds a note and adds your guys' custom call script in. Then you get a notification for your new lead. The next step is to add a manual call in. So what this is going to do is it's going to add this lead to a queue for you. And let's go ahead and show this in Jim's account again. And so you guys, under your conversations tab, you're going to see manual actions here. So your manual actions, all of these leads that are in here, they're in a call queue. All you have to do is click let's start. And what it's going to do is it's going to call the very first lead. It's going to open their contact record, and you're going to have a pop-up over the top of this contact record. When you get done with the call, whether you left a voicemail, had a conversation, booked an appointment, you're going to have a disposition at the end of it. So you're going to be able to say that you had a conversation. You're going to be able to say if they didn't answer, if you left a voicemail, and you're going to be able to log a note. Once you're done with that, you just click next. It's actually going to move you to the very next contact on this list, and it's going to power dial through every single one of those contacts. You have the option to disposition after each call, so that way you know what happened, and then it's going to move on to the next call. You've got about a 20 to 30-second window from the time you finish a call with one person, you've done your disposition, to the time the phone is ringing for the next lead. So that is manual actions and how you can set it up. The other way would be if you were in your, if you guys wanted the system to actually call you. So what you can do is, instead of adding that lead to a manual call, where you can block out your time, say, hey, I'm going to power through these leads every day at this particular time. Let's say you're too busy. You don't have time to do the manual call. What you can do is you can set up Leads to ROI to call you when you get a new lead. So instead of a manual call, and this is how we have everything set up on default, you could go in and you could add a call. Now, if you're adding a call, I highly recommend adding in a whisper. So something that I would say in here is time to call, and we would just say contact.name. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a phone call. It's going to be the same number every time, so save it in your phone. You're going to get a phone call. You're going to pick it up, and it'll say time to call, contact. It'll say John Smith, and then type in press 1 to continue. You press 1, and it's automatically going to call your lead for you. So for those agents that are super busy, always on the run, don't have time to set up a block time to call your leads, set it up this way so the system calls you every time you get that new lead. Press 1, and it'll automatically dial the lead. You get them on the phone, have a conversation. What you will need to do is log notes. And at this point in time, since you're on the run, use your lead connector mobile app so that you can log notes, set appointments, make sure that you have tasks set and reminders if you need to call them back, anything along those lines. But those are the major differences. Manual call sets things up into a queue so that you can use your power dialer and auto dial those leads. The call function in the system will call you. You press 1, and it calls your lead. So it covers those two. Preset manual call campaigns and Leads to ROI. I essentially just covered this for you, but the manual call campaigns are set as default. The manual call campaigns are designed so that you'll reach out to your FSBO through the power dialer a minimum of 6 times. So if you guys choose to have the system call you instead, just know manual calls are set up as default. We do that because we don't want to run up your guys' Twilio, or we use Twilio as our phone and text messaging service. And we pass that cost on for that usage to our users. And so we don't have it set to automatically call you because we don't want to jack your guys' rates through the roof right out of the gate. It's pretty cost effective to do with with Twilio. It's extremely cost effective, but we just don't want to incur any additional charges for our agents out of the gate. We want to give you the option to call when you're ready to call. So if you want to change that up, super simple in your guys' workflow, you just click the plus and you'd add a call. You can then go into the manual call, hit delete and remove it, and you're good to go. And then the very last thing is unique selling propositions. So this is Kelly's USP that he offers for sale by owners. And you can see that the bullet points that we have here are pre-list offers. So he offers a free website to them. He offers a free 360 virtual tour, and he offers them a free 1-800 number so that people aren't just spamming their cell phone, right? So that way he's going to call forward. You can see that it's actually somebody reaching out on your house from that 1-800 number. Makes things a little bit easier. He also has a little caveat that if listing their home, we charge 4.5% listing fee if they're buying another home, and we are the buyer's agent. So with that, you guys, one of the questions we ask on our lead form, whether it's from listings to leads or what we showed you creating your own, is once your home sells, do you plan on buying another home? Right. So that question gives you a little bit of a leg up, especially when you're presenting this particular unique selling proposition. If you get the opportunity to represent them listing and then buying the new home, take a little haircut on the commission on the listing and make yourself 2 commissions in one deal. Save yourself, go ahead and make yourself some additional money by winning both those listings in one fell swoop, the listing and the buyer representation. If we find unrepresented buyer, they save an additional 5%. So if you bring the buyer into the fold and your buyer that you found that wants to purchase their home that isn't represented by an agent, you'll do this for 4%. You're still making more than what your commission would typically be, which would be a 3% on your side of the transaction. But now you're making 4%. You brought in the buyer, all of that good stuff. Now you even have the opportunity to go and take them out, show them more houses, and win a second commission. Super awesome. They also get access to our exclusive buyer marketing program. So what is this? Kelly has coached and trained on this several times. One of his unique selling propositions that he uses is he pulls up the MLS of pending homes that are within a certain parameter of that particular listing, that particular for sale by owner. And he will walk in the door with 10 to 20 folks that are pending in their transaction, pending in their home. And he lets folks know that these are the people that are most desperate to purchase a home in today's market. They just sold their house. Inventories are at all-time lows. People aren't able to find homes that they want to get into. And when they do, they're in a massive bidding war. So this is an extremely awesome opportunity to help that particular for sale by owner get in front of buyers that they never even thought of. And these are folks that recently sold a house. It's currently pending. It just sold or just went under contract on the MLS. We know these folks need a new house in most cases. So awesome, unique selling proposition there. So that wraps it up for today's live training. What do you guys have for questions? Everybody feel free to raise your hand. Go ahead and ask away, and we'll get these knocked out quickly.
Hey, Brian, it's Jim.
Hey, Jim, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well.
The couple of FSBOs you brought up in my account there that didn't look like there was any activity on them. Did you see that conversations?
Let's take a look. Oh, I know why it is. So we ran into an issue with the emailing and text messaging out to those FSBOs. So our email provider actually changed their rules and regulations on what we can do as far as emailing out to folks. And so they want at least at minimum 1 opt-in before we can send an email out to them. We also have seen some increased restrictions from all of the couriers from AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon, as far as sending out text messages. It used to be okay because their home was listed for sale by owner for us to communicate with them via text and email. But the tech industry as a whole is migrating to where they want to see opt-ins from individuals before we send texts, emails, or essentially any kind of correspondence. So what we've done is we've added a manual call function into the platform, and this is actually your account, Jim. So it's actually set that we need to go through this manual call first. Once we complete the manual call, we have one text message that we'll send out. And this is set up so that we try to make sure that we keep you guys, in 100% compliance. What we recommend when you make this phone call, go ahead and leave a voicemail, letting them know you're sending them a text. It sends one text, and that's going to load more manual calls so that you can continue to call those leads. But you will find those calls, Jim, under conversations and manual actions. Those calls will be listed right here. And then you can also go ahead and sort this out if you're on desktop. This isn't working on mobile right now, but it is on desktop. Our dev team's working out the bugs on that so that it works on mobile. But on desktop, you can select the FSBO Ninja, and these are all of your FSBOs that are ready to be called. So you just click Let's Start, and it's going to power dial through all of them for you. But those were some changes that we had to make sure that we maintain compliance.
Okay. We didn't figure out anything how to cross-check these FSBOs, did we?
No, so we don't have a way to cross-check those FSBOs at this point in time.
We would have to do it manually.
At this time, yes. We have reached out to John Pope with My Plus Leads to see what we can do. He let us know that he would get back with us. So we've got a couple other things on the dev benchmark that we're trying to get knocked out as well with John Pope. Number one is a direct API integration. We are direct integrated to them, but right now everything goes into a queue. So if we have, let's say we get all of our leads at 8:30 in the morning, whatever your local time zone is, as new FSBOs get added on, they go into a queue and they then load into your account the next morning at 8:30 a.m. So what we are doing is we're working directly with John Pope to eliminate the queue so that as soon, which is the CEO of My Plus Leads, so that as soon as a for sale by owner hits, that lead will automatically go into your account and there won't be any delay so that we can further increase speed to lead.
Okay, so that, all right, that ad that you were talking about for the custom audience of that evergreen ad or whatever.
Yeah.
We create that in listings to leads or just straight through Facebook?
So I showed two different options for you guys to create those. I didn't build the full ad in Facebook, but you guys can create that. I'd recommend using listings to leads. It's going to be a much more simplistic way of building the ad. But if you want the slideshow, just say slideshow in the chat and we'll make sure that we email it to you. Zoom saves all of our chat recordings so that we can go back and view those at any point in time. So we'll be able to jump in that with you.
Yeah, I put it in
So
there.
we got a bunch of people that want the slideshow. I think just about everybody.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the leads they're blowing up for sure. I'm getting a hold of some of them, having a conversation, which is a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you and Merlene have both been getting a lot of appointments on the buyer side.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah, it's nuts what's going on there.
How are those things going for you guys?
I'm having a lot of conversation on my end, and it's just on the buyer side. I'm trying to work it that way. I want to start sending them into the Turbo Premier for them to get pre-qualified and pre-approved. That's my goal right now with them, but I'm having a lot of conversation. And
awesome. I feel like every day I look, you've got 2 or 3 appointments that have been booked on your calendar. Our ISAs are going nuts calling on those leads.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of it. Right now, it's just, I'm doing a lot of marketing. I like what you just did here for the FSBOs because I'm trying to get them to reach out to me. And because I'm doing the mailers right now with Mailbox Power, and I'm about to do my second set of for automation is about to go out to them. And I'm going to do what you just show us right now. because I need them to reach out to me in order for me to do the calling with the FSBOs. You know, the
Definitely.
buyers
You are
coming
allowed to
in.
call them.
Yes, the buyers that are coming in because they are opting into the Facebook ad marketing that I'm doing, I can call them because they basically provide me their information. They opt in, but the FSBOs are not. They're not people wish I'm just getting them. You know, they're not really leads, so they need to reach out to me first. And if they ever complain, I'll be in trouble. So I have to do my marketing. I have to do so I'm hoping now, since everything is being lifted in New York, that this whole rule is going to be lifted too, because right now everything is opening back in New York, but no mass spending, no nothing. So I'm hoping that'll be the next thing they lift out. Yeah.
Yeah,
so.
I don't even want to get started on how I feel about New York telling people.
Yeah, because they're horrible right now. Yeah. And I do, on the audience that you just showed us, we has to be about 1,000 people, 1,000 people in order to do the audience, right? So my best bet is to go to my plus leads and pull, because right now I only have about 203 FSBOs into my CRM. So for me to do this audience, I have to go to my plus lead and pull at least 1,000 of them to do what you just showed me, right?
Yes, but it depends on your location. So in some locations, my plus leads will only show you data from the time that you started until now.
Okay.
So if you only have 250 FSBOs, you may have to wait until more FSBOs keep rolling in to go ahead and utilize those. What I would actually do though, in the meantime, is I would kind of kickstart that audience. I would download the 250 that you have, import it into Facebook. 250 isn't enough for Facebook to run an ad. It's not. But if you start adding those FSBO audiences in there, the second that your ad's ready to start running, if you create the ad, have the audience ready, the second you get enough FSBOs in there, Facebook's audience or ad's going to kick on and it's going to start running to those folks. So I'd recommend setting it up and just being kind of prepped and ready for it.
Okay, so I can go ahead and start doing set them up at least. Okay, makes sense. Thanks.
Okay, so real quick, if we put that call in there to where the system calls us, that's as soon as the lead hits the system, correct? It's going to do that?
Yes, unless it falls outside of the parameters of your workflow. So let's say we have the workflow set to call between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. to make sure that we're not calling too late or too early.
Okay.
If that lead comes in, let's say at 8:30, you have 20 of them that come in, you're going to get 20 calls back to back to back at 9 a.m. once that workflow turns on. So any lead that came in overnight, it's going to kick your day off at 9 a.m. by starting that call. So if you wanted to select a particular time frame on that, or you said, hey, I only want this call to come through between these hours and these hours, you can do that. And so with your guys' workflows, you can go into automations, you can go into workflows, and then let's just go into that FSBO Ninja, since this is what we're talking about. So the actual call itself, I think we can add a window here. Nope. We were able to, but we actually had Dev remove it. So what you can do is go into the settings of this workflow, and you can select specific times that you want this workflow to run. So right now we have it set for Monday through Saturday on default for you guys from 9 to 5. So you could change this up and you could say, okay, if I do a block time every day from, let's just say 9 a.m. to 11 p.m., or excuse me, 11 a.m., that would be all day. If we do it from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., a 2-hour block time, you can go ahead and select your block time period in here, and it's only going to call you within that particular window. So that's a cool way to set it up so that you set a specific block time to call your leads, but you let the system do all the work for you. You don't even have to click a button. They call you, you push one, it connects.
Okay, and so then we could go in the system and see the details of the house, the address, and so forth like that, right?
Absolutely. What's going to happen though?
Before it calls us, I mean, so we can have an intelligent conversation, basically.
what's going to happen is with the automated call through the system, it's going to call you. And whatever whisper you add into here on the actual call, that's going to be the info that you're going to have before it dials that lead. So if you do want to be able to view that lead's information, take a look at their profile, I recommend doing the manual call and going through the manual actions. Now,
Okay.
as soon as this says, reach out to new lead John Smith, you can go ahead and pull up the app on your phone or on your computer, and you can search for that lead and grab that information so that while it's dialing, you're kind of multitasking and gathering that info. I've been in, I've worked in call, essentially call centers my whole life, whether it was financial advisory, just general banking, relationship banking, or private client investing, or whether it was at Zillow or with Leads to ROI, being on advertising, being on university. I have always started my dial. The second I started dialing and it began to ring, I opened a tab and searched for whoever I was calling, or used my CRM to gather information while that dial is happening, because I know my intro is going to take like 5 to 7 seconds. I'm going to have a response back from them. I'm more than likely going to have an objection right out of the gate that I'm going to have to overcome so that I can get that conversation started. By that time, I've already found the contact record. We've got all of the additional info listed. We can see, okay, it's 3 beds, 2 baths. They're looking to purchase between 400 and 500K. They're not currently working with a lender. Any of the additional info we need, I can go ahead and gather. So I recommend making the call while it's dialing, pull it up in your database, find the notes, and this will become second nature the more that you do it. So the more that you put in the dials, the more that you go ahead and search, pull up that contact while it's dialing and gather the resources and information that you need, the faster and more efficient you're going to become with it.
Okay. Sorry, I'm full of questions. But I mean,
okay.
I've been playing with the system and trying to, you know what we're doing. We're trying to figure it out to where we can work it the best and the most efficient on making calls and so forth like that. And then notes and just keeping track of everything. Because that's what happens with this business. I mean, we start generating tons of leads. We call them, we talk to them maybe once. And then even if we don't talk to them, we just move on. And that's what's good about the automation. And I've got people responding to the automation, which is good stuff also. But that's what I've come to find out in this business is we just generate so many contacts and leads that they drop off after a day or so, or even a week, because we've already generated another 10 or 15 that we're moving on to. And I've lost business because of that. So it's just trying to figure out how to make that work the best way possible to where I don't lose the business.
Set up a block time if you can and go through those manual dials.
Yeah.
If you do the manual actions, you click the play button, it's going to call through your leads. We've got it set to where it's going to keep you calling those FSBOs. It's going to keep you calling those buyers. It's going to keep you calling those sellers. We have a buyer call workflow, a seller call workflow, a FSBO call workflow, a canceled call workflow, expired, withdrawn, all of those things. So you should be able to power through those and keep smiling and dialing those folks day after day.
And that's the other thing too, in the workflows, can reminders be set up for us, like a text reminder or something for us to call so-and-so? Because you said six dials, right?
Yep, that's correct. So if we go ahead and we take a look at a workflow, just for example, let's go ahead and jump into automations. And let's just look at this FSBO Ninja that we were already on. Let's go ahead and click on FSBO Ninja. So let's say you want a reminder right here before the manual call, right? So what we would go ahead and do is we can type in internal, and you'll see this send internal notification. You can click this. Now you can send this as an email, an SMS, or a notification to your app. So let's just say we set it up as a notification to the app.
A notification to the app. Okay. to the app.
Yep. So you know how when you get new leads, you get a notification on your app on your phone, the lead connector app.
My phone's exploding. Yes.
It will populate there.
I mean,
So you can
I'm
have
still
it
getting
populate
KV.
there.
I'm still getting KV Core 2 notifications, which I don't want. I know William said we could turn them off, but I don't want to because there's other things going on in there too.
Yep. You need to keep those on.
So my phone just blows up.
Now we're doing some ninja stuff in your KV core. You want to keep that on. So you can select either an email notification, a notification on the app, or an SMS. And then you can go ahead and write out in here. The cool thing with the notifications, whether it's a text, an email, you've got custom values here. So you can just click custom values, contact, first name. You can do contact first name, last name. You can do their full name. So it's just all there. You can gather even more info if you want from that lead. Now, another cool thing with your internal notifications, especially if you're sending it through an internal notification through your app, you have a redirect page. So you can redirect it directly to your contact. So once you get that notification, you click the notification, it brings the contact directly up. You just push the call button on the contact. So just like what you were saying earlier, Jim, where you like to research, find the info on the home, find all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
You can go ahead and click the contact page or click that notification. It'll take you directly to the contact page. And then you can see all of those important information, notes, all that good stuff.
So we
I
would
would
set
also
up
have this set to assigned, user assigned to the contact.
So we would set up multiple of those in this workflow.
Yes, you'd set one up before each call essentially, but you're going to have a good chunk of FSBOs every single day that enter your database. So I'd recommend doing this on the buyer side so that it's based off of that slow trickle. Since right now, all those FSBOs essentially come in the same time every day. You don't want to flood yourself every day. If we look just on the 21st, so this was yesterday, we didn't have any FSBOs today. There's 3 that came in yesterday. One that came in the day before, the 19th, looks like it had 3 as well. So, I mean, I think it would be safe for you to do it with the FSBOs because you're not getting over inundated. But some of our agents, depending on the market that they're in and the amount of FSBOs they have, some of them are getting 10 to 20 FSBOs a day.
Right. But then again, I'm not gonna call every one of them. I'm gonna pick and choose right here. So, okay. So it wouldn't do me any good to do that. It would for the buyers for sure, like you're saying.
Called on this one, brother?
Do what now?
Have you called on this one yet?
No, not yet. It just hit.
No phone number.
No phone number, no.
Oh yeah, there is no phone number. It didn't come.
So I
through.
can't. I've got some others in there. Pretty good.
I would look this person up on Google,
Yeah.
on Facebook. I would actually go
True
and type
people
in their address. Let's try this.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's grab the full address.
So I could put that in the buyer workflow, but then again, yeah, it's gonna allow me to call them all, even the just streaming. Okay.
Here's the property owner's phone number.
Yeah, that's Corkscrew Shores. Wow, 1,050,000.
Yeah, I think you
2,400.
should go do a BPO form. Go win that bad boy.
Yeah. Sitting on a preserve. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, our prices are just insane stupid.
I mean, for what I'm looking at right now, I wouldn't say this is insane stupid, but I'm also in Washington State where a matchbox on the corner in a homeless camp in Seattle is worth $2 million. So
Yeah.
Mm.
No, that was just maybe 700 grand less than a year ago.
crazy market.
It's
Sure
nuts. And we say there's no inventory, but yet there's been a lot of sales, and that's just because inventory snapped up and gone before you know it. But there has been a lot of activity. And I got a little bit of it, but okay, well, I think
Got your
that
hands
answers
dirty a little bit.
Yeah, I think that answers my questions. Like you said, I need to set block time, the call block time for the FSBOs and the buyers. And the sellers, I'm just gonna bombard them with videos.
Good call.
Okay.
I'd still call them too. All right, you guys. Do we have any other questions?
No, good year.
Awesome, you guys. Well, I've got another meeting that I've got to run to. I appreciate everybody jumping on today. And if you guys like today's training, do me a favor, just send us a text back to the message you guys got to join the training with a thumbs up, or say, hey, more like this. And I'll keep putting out more live trainings like this, you guys. My goal is to make sure that we have all of these structured and organized, and that we give you guys a phenomenal coaching experience where you get solid information on ways that you can grow your business, and also ways that leads to ROI can help you cross the finish line and save you time. So thanks to everybody for tuning in today. We look forward to seeing you guys on our next live training, which will be Thursday, or in our support hour tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.